These are the 7 levels of fiction's darkest universe's worlds, where hope dies first and reality follows. Level 1. The Mist. Darkness seeps in quietly, with a fog, not a scream. The small town of Bridgeton, Maine wakes to a violent storm, branches snapping, power lines humming. A dense, unnatural mist begins to crawl over the horizon, silent, omnipresent, inscrutable. David Drayton, his son Billy, and a few others take refuge in a local supermarket. What they don't know, the veil conceals things that shouldn't exist. In the mist, the monsters aren't fearsome only because of their claws or tentacles. They terrify because they distort the rules of reality. The fog becomes a theater for cosmic creatures. Gravity surrenders consistency. Light becomes a lie. But the greater horror lives within. Neighbors turning on neighbors. Despair disguised as faith. Leadership that murders mercy. The mist doesn't merely kill, it breeds madness. As food dwindles, the group fractures. Religious zealots demand sacrifices. Rational minds lose voice. The film's ending delivers the final twist. David, grasping no hope is left, takes a merciless decision. And moments later, the mist clears to reveal that salvation was within reach all along. That gut punch lingers. The universe didn't save them. It simply waited. What makes The Mist Level 1 is precisely its dual threat. The cosmic lurking outside and the collapse of humanity inside. It's not just a monster movie. It's a microcosm of fear, a test of faith, a mirror to despair. At this level, darkness starts small. A fog, a whisper, an idea. And if a fog can shatter hope, wait until the apocalypse wears no mask. Level 2. The Road. When extinction is the only constant. The world's end is never announced. In The Road, a father and his young son walk across an ashen wasteland after an undefined cataclysm reduces all life to gray. Plants have died. Animals are ghosts. Civilization has collapsed. The two carry what they can in a shopping cart, scavenging ruins for scraps and hoping heat doesn't burn them alive before starvation does. There's no monster in The Road, only absence. Every abandoned house, broken road, and skeletal forest echoes the same question. Why persist when everything is lost? The film offers no explicit cause for the apocalypse, leaving the audience to feel its weight rather than rationalize it. Even the sun refuses to shine properly. Gray becomes the only color, and hope is rationed by fuel, bullets, and the dwindling trust between strangers. Yet in this void, the father insists on morality. He teaches his son about carrying the fire, a fragile metaphor for humanity's spark, even when everything burns. They share food with strangers, hesitate before killing, cling to memory fragments of a world that no longer exists. Those moments are small rebellions against total collapse. What turns The Road into our Level 2 is the suspension of escape. Death offers no solace, only continuation. The darkness here is not noise, it's silence. It isn't about monsters consuming you. It's about watching the world eat itself. If this landscape is death by hunger and ash, the next level fractures reality itself. Level 3. Silent Hill. Guilt breeds monsters. In Silent Hill, the mind is the architect of its own nightmare. Fog. Endless, choking, muffling fog. When Rose da Silva drives into the ghost town searching for her missing daughter, the world doesn't just change, it judges her. Buildings distort, time loops. The ground itself opens like a wound. In Silent Hill, every street is therapy without forgiveness. The town isn't haunted by spirits. It's haunted by its visitors. It reads your memories like scripture and sculpts punishment out of them. The nurses twitch because you look too long. The walls bleed because you never confessed. Pyramid Head doesn't chase you because he's evil. He chases you because you deserve him. The film's brilliance and cruelty lies in its logic. Pain is justice, and guilt is gravity. No one walks freely. They orbit their own sin. Each monster, each hallucination, is a physical metaphor screaming the same question: what did you do? By the finale, Rose learns what everyone in Silent Hill learns. Salvation isn't escape, it's acceptance. But acceptance means staying. The town keeps her, like a memory too heavy to delete. Level 3 earns its place because horror here isn't cosmic or viral, it's moral. You don't fear what hides in the dark, you fear being seen by it. But while Silent Hill births its monsters from guilt, our next world manufactures them from godhood gone wrong. Level 4. Bloodborne. When salvation is a poison and curiosity is the disease. Yharnam is a city that bleeds ambition, a miracle cure. The healing blood promises transcendence, but every drop draws you closer to mutation. The clergy call it salvation. the streets call it screaming. In Bloodborne, belief has replaced biology. The Great Ones, ancient cosmic entities, whisper enlightenment to those desperate enough to listen. Hunters stalk the night, cutting down beasts that were once human, praying that tomorrow they won't sprout claws themselves. The moon looms too close. The sky writhes. Reality frays like muscle torn from bone. Every triumph is wrought disguised as revelation. You slay monsters, uncover secrets, ascend to higher planes, only to discover the universe was never human-shaped. The closer you get to truth, the more the truth unravels you. That's the genius of Yharnam. Enlightenment and insanity are synonyms. The gods are surgeons, and humanity their experiment. Knowledge is currency, and the cost is your reflection. Bloodborne sits at level 4 because its horror isn't moral or mortal. It's structural. The city is a metaphor for civilization itself, self-consumed, overeducated, worshipping the very infection that's killing it. You can't fix Yharnam. You can only evolve into something that stops caring. But if Bloodborne's horror lies in what the gods reveal, the next level stares into what the universe hides and finds nothing looking back. Level 5. The Thing. Paranoia isn't a symptom here. It's the environment itself. Antarctica. Endless white, endless wind, endless isolation. A research team finds something frozen in the ice, an alien life form that doesn't invade, it imitates. One cell is enough. It studies you, replicates you, becomes you, and then it waits. In The Thing, fear isn't about death, it's about doubt. Every glance, every breath clouding in the cold could belong to something wearing a human mask. Communication collapses first, then morality, then identity. Trust becomes a weapon no one can afford to use. John Carpenter's masterpiece turns survival into a math problem. One unknown organism, 12 suspects, 0 certainty. The horror grows not from monsters bursting through doors, but from realizing you might already be the monster and simply haven't noticed yet. Fire becomes the only truth left. Purge by flame, verify by ash. The ending offers no closure. 2 survivors, no proof. A bottle passed between them that may or may not be gasoline. They smile because pretending is easier than knowing. Level 5 is terror by reflection. It isn't the alien that wins. It's the possibility of it. When reality can't distinguish between self and imitation, existence becomes an experiment with no control group. And if imitation can corrupt biology, imagine what happens when reality itself begins to copy and rewrite you from the inside out. Level 6. Annihilation. Self-destruction isn't a flaw in this universe. It's the operating system. A meteor crashes into a lighthouse, birthing the Shimmer, a prismatic dome that refracts not light, but life. Inside, DNA forgets its rules. Plants bloom in human shapes. Deer grow mirrored doubles. Soldiers dissolve into florid mosaics. In Annihilation, the enemy isn't an invader. It's evolution with no off switch. The Shimmer doesn't kill. It edits. It samples everything, genome, memory, thought, and remixes it into art, too alien for sanity to survive. Lena's expedition begins as science and ends as confession. Each member confronts the urge that defines them, addiction, guilt, despair, and the zone magnifies it until identity collapses. When Lena finally meets the entity, it doesn't attack. It mirrors. Her movements, her fear, her violence, all echoed back until there's no difference between creator and copy. The film's brilliance lies in how it weaponizes beauty. Every frame glows like revelation, yet everything within is dying, reforming, forgetting. It's cosmic horror wearing the skin of enlightenment. Level 6 represents horror by assimilation. The Shimmer isn't punishment. It's progress, indifferent and inevitable. Humanity's instinct to self-erase becomes universal law. We built mirrors to understand ourselves, and they learned to stare back. But while Annihilation still leaves fragments of humanity, the final level abandons even that illusion, because beyond the mirror lies nothing, and nothing looks hungry. Level 7, Hellraiser, where pleasure, pain, and reality all file for bankruptcy. At the bottom of fiction's darkness lies a contradiction that even language can't survive. In Hellraiser, the Cenobites promise transcendence through suffering, pain refined until it becomes theology. Their world is not hell. It's curiosity fulfilled too far. The puzzle box doesn't summon demons. It opens customer service for desire. And once you call, they always answer. But graft Lovecraft's mythos onto Clive Barker's machinery, and the result is the purest nightmare imaginable, a cosmos that rewards obsession and punishes understanding. The Cenobites are merely middle management. Above them stretch hierarchies of entities so vast that even agony is beneath their notice. The great old gods do not condemn. They observe. They watch as you flay yourself searching for meaning, and politely take notes. Here, horror reaches thermal death. The universe no longer needs victims. It recycles them into architecture. Flesh becomes ornament. Time becomes texture. What began as worship ends as geometry. Level 7 is where all lower fears converge. Guilt from Silent Hill, mutation from Bloodborne, paranoia from The Thing, self-erasure from Annihilation, distilled into pure metaphysical entropy. There is no story left to tell because storytelling requires perspective, and perspective requires someone left to scream. This isn't damnation, it's administration. The universe balancing its books, one consciousness at a time, and when the ledger finally closes, not even darkness will remember that it ever existed. And that completes the descent through the 7 level of darkest universes in fiction, from post-apocalyptic nightmares to cosmic horror realms where reality itself breaks. These worlds remind us why we love dark fantasy, existential horror, and stories that challenge the edge of sanity. Which level of darkness would you survive? Tell me below. For more horror movie analysis, cosmic lore breakdowns, and dark universe explained videos, subscribe and keep your light on. Because in every fictional universe, the only thing more terrifying than monsters is meaning.
Subscribe for more interesting stuff. Tell us your experience in the comments.